You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
What is it? Well, they knew what they were doing, and they thought they could get away with it.
Could this be the end of the road for Mayor Tiffany Henyard? As scandals pile up and the walls of justice close in, it seems like the super mayor of Dolton, Illinois, might be facing the ultimate downfall. Not just losing her position, but potentially her freedom, too. And if you thought things couldn't get worse for her, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has stepped into the ring, publicly humiliating Henyard and uncovering shocking details that reveal the damage she's inflicted on her own city is far worse than anyone could have imagined. Buckle up, because this saga is only getting started and it's about to get real messy.
For a year now, we've been reporting on questionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard. But we only knew half the story because...
So let's dive right into the latest bombshells. The story begins with Lori Lightfoot. Yes, the same Lori Lightfoot who recently exited the political stage in Chicago, being called upon to lead an investigation into Henyard's questionable activities. Now, if you thought Lightfoot was just going to coast into a quiet post-mayoral life, think again. She's back, and this time, she's on a mission to clean up Dolton's dirty laundry, and let's just say it's not a pretty sight.
No, he's not employed by us. So you have got just this gyration.
The investigation, spearheaded by Lightfoot, has brought to light a slew of alarming revelations about Henyard's conduct. Imagine a town where the mayor treats public funds like her personal piggy bank, splurging on lavish trips, racking up tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and leaving the town teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. That's exactly what's happened in Dolton under Henyard's watch. Lightfoot's report paints a damning picture. The village's finances are in shambles, with a staggering deficit that spiraled out of control, leaving residents in financial ruin.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
And it gets worse. Henyard didn't just spend recklessly, she allegedly did so with a sense of impunity that's nothing short of shocking. According to Lightfoot's findings, Henyard used the village credit card like it was monopoly money, charging over $40,000 in a single day on Amazon alone. And what were these purchases for? No one knows, because the receipts and explanations are conveniently missing.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
It's almost as if Henyard believed she was untouchable, that no one would dare question her. But now, with Lightfoot digging into every nook and cranny, it's clear that her reign of unchecked power is crumbling. And it's not just about credit card bills and missing receipts. Henyard's financial mismanagement has led to the village falling deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. Remember when Dolton had a budget surplus? Those days are long gone. Lightfoot's investigation uncovered that in just a few short years, Henyard has managed to turn a surplus into a $3.65 million deficit. That's right, the town is broke, and the residents are the ones paying the price. Taxes are sky high, services are being cut left and right, and the town that once had a bright future is now drowning in red ink. But the money trail doesn't stop there. Henyard's ties to some shady characters are also coming under scrutiny. The federal investigation that's now breathing down her neck isn't just focused on her, it's also zeroing in on her inner circle, including Dolton's deputy police chief, Willis Lacey. Lacey, a close ally of Henyard, is facing a 9-count indictment for bankruptcy fraud and perjury.
Employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate, right?
According to rumors swirling around Dolton, Lacey is just the tip of the iceberg. It's been suggested that he and other officials have been in on Henyard's schemes, helping her funnel public funds into her own pockets while turning a blind eye to the village's financial ruin.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
And if that wasn't enough, there's Henyard's so-called charity, Tiffany Henyard Cares. Now you'd think that a charity with a name like that would be all about helping the community, right? Wrong. According to the latest reports, this charity was little more than a front for money laundering. The Illinois Attorney General has even shut it down, citing a complete lack of transparency and accountability. It turns out that Henyard was using her charity to funnel taxpayer money into her own personal projects, all while pretending to be a pillar of the community. It's almost like she was trying to write her own script for a reality show, how to scam a town and get away with it. But let's not forget the drama that's been unfolding within Dolton's local government. Henyard has been battling her own trustees, who finally had enough of her antics. In a series of heated meetings, the trustees have voted to reinstate Lightfoot's investigation, despite Henyard's desperate attempts to shut it down. And the residents. They're not just sitting idly by, they're furious, showing up to meetings to demand answers, to ask where all the money has gone, and to call for Henyard's resignation. One resident even went as far as to say, "You're not going to understand until they come and put cuffs on you," a clear reference to the looming FBI investigation.
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Well, the rumors are flying. Some say she could be removed from office any day now, especially with the federal investigation gaining steam. If the allegations of corruption and fraud are proven, Henyard could be facing serious jail time. Let's not forget that public officials convicted of embezzling funds or engaging in fraudulent activities have been known to receive hefty prison sentences. Just look at former Detroit Mayor Cuomo Kilpatrick, who was sentenced to 28 years in federal prison for racketeering and bribery. If Henyard's case goes the same way, she could be looking at decades behind bars. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because this story is far from over. Henyard, for all her faults, isn't going down without a fight. She's already made it clear that she believes this is all part of a smear campaign, that she's being targeted because of her gender and race. In one of her more defiant moments, she even called a special town meeting clickbait, accusing her detractors of trying to undermine her leadership. But at this point, it seems like the only person undermining Henyard is Henyard herself.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get questions, answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing is being done.
Her own inner circle appears to be turning on her. There are whispers that some of Henyard's closest allies are cooperating with federal investigators, trying to save themselves by throwing her under the bus. This includes some high-profile figures within Dolton's police department who, according to sources, are spilling the beans on Henyard's misdeeds in exchange for leniency. It's the classic tale of a political machine crumbling from within, as those who once supported Henyard now scramble to distance themselves from the sinking ship. And the scandal just keeps getting juicier. Remember that $67,000 Henyard and her entourage spent on first-class flights and luxury hotels? It turns out those trips weren't just for fun. They were part of a calculated effort to secure political favors and boost her own image. But here's the kicker. Those expenses were all billed to the taxpayers. So while Henyard was living it up in Las Vegas and New York, her constituents were footing the bill. It's no wonder the town is broke.
I'm sure you guys had an awesome time on the backs of taxpayers, but what do we gain from any of these trips? We gain nothing.
As the investigation continues, more and more dirt is being dug up on Henyard's administration. Reports have surfaced that she employed a convicted offender with a history of inappropriate conduct as a code enforcement officer, hired personal photographers on the taxpayer's dime, and even proposed slashing the mayor's salary to just $25,000 a year if she loses the next election, all in effort to discourage anyone from running against her. It's almost like Henyard is daring the town to get rid of her, confident that she can manipulate the system to stay in power. But the cracks are starting to show. Even her once loyal supporters are beginning to question her actions. Trustee Carmen Carlile, who had previously been one of Henyard's staunchest allies, recently broke her silence, accusing Henyard of unethical and predatory behavior. Carlile's statement was scathing. For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success, funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dolton Township and the village of Dolton. It's a brutal takedown from someone who was once firmly in Henyard's corner, and it speaks volumes about the level of discontent brewing within Dolton's leadership. Meanwhile, the federal subpoenas keep rolling in. The FBI is now asking for detailed records of Henyard's financial transactions, including any payments made to her charity, campaign fund, and personal businesses. The scope of the investigation is expanding, and it's clear that the feds are looking to build a comprehensive case against her. And while Henyard continues to deny any wrongdoing, the evidence against her is mounting. So what does the future hold for Tiffany Henyard? If she's removed from office, and let's be real, it's looking more and more likely every day. The question then becomes, who will clean up the mess she's left behind? The town of Dolton is in dire straits, and it's going to take a monumental effort to restore any semblance of financial stability. But that's a problem for another day. Right now, all eyes are on Henyard, as the legal noose tightens around her neck and the specter of prison looms large.
What I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
And let's not forget the residents of Dolton, who are left picking up the pieces. Their town has been driven to the brink of bankruptcy by a mayor who was supposed to protect their interests. Many are struggling to pay their bills, facing higher taxes, and dealing with a town government that seems more interested in covering its own tracks than serving its citizens. For them, the fallout from Henyard's actions will be felt long after she's gone.
Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she feels like she's under attack, because she is.
In the end, this saga is a stark reminder of what can happen when power is abused and accountability is thrown out the window. Tiffany Henyard's story is one of ambition gone awry, of a leader who thought she could get away with anything. But as the investigation continues to unfold, one thing is clear. She won't be getting away with it for much longer. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and who knows what twist or turn it will take next. So, what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard the worst mayor in America, or is she just the latest victim of a political witch hunt? And what's next for Dolton? Can the town recover from this mess, or is the damage too far gone? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.